Big story today coming out of the courts. But let me first put it in context for you. A few days ago, a prominent Israeli filmmaker, inexplicably given a podium by the central government, abused Indian hospitality and dared to trivialize the Hindu genocide in Kashmir by rubbishing a movie inspired by the Holocaust. The filmmaker's comments were rightly panned by every right-thinking Indian with a sense of justice and morality. The filmmaker's comments also happened to be aired around the time an Islamist terror group called the TRF released a kill list of Hindus living in the Kashmir Valley, underlining, viewers, the threat to the Kashmiri Hindu community that persists in independent India. The juxtaposition of the filmmaker's comments and the emergence of the kill list only pointed to a deep-seated bias. Unfortunately, the filmmaker was only the latest in a long line of those who have made a career out of being selective. 2 years ago, several rights activists similarly shocked the nation by suggesting that the violence unleashed in Delhi in January, February 2020 during the anti-CA agitation was the handiwork solely of Islamophobic Hindus who wanted to reduce Muslims to the status of second-class citizens in this country. These claims, viewers, were based on the back of a selective reading of facts, such as the number of fatalities that took place in the unfortunate riots and even the arrests. Even when evidence was presented to the self-styled secularists that suggested that it would be an injustice to pin the blame for the rioting on Hindus exclusively, this Lutyens, cabal, ecosystem, lobby, call it what you want to, refused to accept the facts. But now, viewers, the court itself has exposed the hollowness of the Islamophobia narrative that was peddled during those disturbances in Delhi and after that. While framing charges against former AAP councillor Tahir Hussain, who was arrested for his role in the violence, a court has observed that his actions, along with those of others, were taken with the clear-cut objective of harming Hindus. Viewers, let me read to you what the court has said or observed. The court observed that the facts and evidence of this case show that a number of persons assembled at the house of Tahir Hussain. Some of them were equipped with firing weapons. Petrol bombs were also arranged by accumulating the required material in Hussein's house. Stones were stored in sacks. All these things were used to target Hindus. Every member of the mob assembled there participated in achieving this object, which was to target Hindus. Such preparations made it look like the house was being used as a base. It shows that the mob was acting out of prior meeting of their mind with a clear-cut objective in mind to harm Hindus in every possible manner. Key observations during the course of this particular hearing, viewers. Now, viewers, let me very quickly talk you through what were the various charges that were brought against this individual. This individual, Tahir Hussain, was accused of masterminding the violence with an intent, specific intent of creating communal trouble, tensions between communities. In fact, Tahir Hussain has even confessed his anti-Hindu hate, viewers. He said that he planned the Delhi riots as he wanted to teach Hindus a lesson. Not my words, his words, viewers. He said, on January 8th, I met Umar Khalid at PFI office with Khalid Saifi. He said he met Khalid Saifi on February 4th to plan out the riots properly. He gathered Muslims on February 25th and asked them to burn the shops of Hindus exclusively. On my direction, a Hindu boy was killed and his body was thrown into a canal. He said that we stored glass bottles, acid, petrol stones on the roof of my house. All of this, viewers, is part of the Delhi police report attributed to this man. Now, viewers, for a moment, I'm not suggesting that Tahir Hussain doesn't deserve a defense. Of course he does. I'm only pointing to what the court has observed. Now, why the court has observed this, we need to go and ask the court. But clearly, the court is satisfied with the prima facie case and the charges that have been slapped against Tahir Hussain. No one is saying that he has been deemed guilty, but certainly, viewers, these particular observations will go a long way in blunting this narrative that the entire riot was orchestrated exclusively by Hindus to punish Muslims. The truth might well be somewhere in the middle, viewers. But thus far, no one has thought of representing it in a manner that doesn't make one party, one religious group, guiltier than the other. And you have to ask yourself why, viewers. Perhaps with an intention of furthering a narrative that in this country, minorities are not either respected and that their rights are violated. Now, let me just give you a quick idea. When this individual was arrested, a large number of individuals belonging to some of the leading parties and some individuals who described themselves as members of the rights and activist community said a lot of things. Amanatullah Khan, Aam Aadmi Party MLA, came out and said Tahir Hussain has been targeted for being a Muslim. So you can already see, viewers, they used his identity to whip up a frenzy. That a Muslim has been targeted, he is now being arrested, he's going to be jailed and blamed for the riots. Asaduddin Owaisi, MIM chief, said, it's a pogrom. It's not a communal riot. This was a pogrom by Hindus against Muslims. This is Mr. Owaisi, viewers. He's a member of parliament. Arundhati Roy, an author, said efforts were made to normalize Islamophobia. By whom? By the ruling establishment. Obviously, viewers. Rana Ayub, another author, someone who suggests that they are one, said Muslims protested peacefully against the CAA, implying that they were being victimized when they were being booked and charged. Because they were peaceful, you see, viewers. They did nothing. Mehbooba Mufti, the PDP chief, said religion determines if one is to be jailed, clearly implying, specifically implying, that Mr. Tahir Hussain was booked because he was a Muslim, and Muslims will not get justice in this country. Prashant Bhushan, a Supreme Court lawyer, said innocence framed and cover up, real perpetrators is on. This is a responsible member, viewers, of the bar. Manoj Jha, another RJD MP, member of parliament, said you'll find heroes behind bars for speaking against the government in the context of these arrests, viewers. Heroes. A person who the court has observed was part of a conspiracy to hunt down Hindus, specifically target Hindus, is a hero. Let's open this up, viewers, because let's ask some basic questions here tonight. And I want to first begin not with the politicians on the panel. I want to first begin with those who are citizens of this country and observers of events. Dr. Ranganathan, let me ask you. Karan Verma, let me begin with you. Hakeem Rizwan Ilahi, let me begin with you. Dr. Ranganathan, first my question. What was being normalized here? Was Hinduphobia being normalized? Or Islamophobia being normalized? I can't seem to understand, because if it was Islamophobia that is being normalized, as some people have very eloquently posited, and I have read out those quotes for you, then how does the court end up suggesting what I have now brought to the notice of you and the viewers, that Tahir Hussain had a clear-cut objective to harm Hindus and their properties? Can you explain?
Good evening, Rahul. Look, I'm absolutely not surprised, not in the least, with all these skeletons tumbling out. Of course, we await, as you said, the final closure that can only happen through the hands of the judiciary. But the court's revelations of Tahir Hussein's paint a grisly picture, especially when it is disclosed that his mobs were chanting, "Teach Kafirs a lesson." These were the same Kafirs who voted for him. They elected him. But when it came to the deciding vote, he wanted them killed. He wanted them to be taught a lesson. And as for the genesis of these riots, Rahul, doubtless there was verbal provocation from both sides, but to put that as a reason that left 53 dead and 200 injured was ridiculous propaganda to begin with. It wasn't Kapil Mishra or Waris Pathan or Harsh Mandar, the men responsible for these riots, but people like Tahir Hussain and Farooqi. 1,300 people have been arrested, and they include roughly equal number of Hindus and Muslims. Both Hindus and Muslims took part, and both Hindus and Muslims lost their lives. You remove one set of names, you report one set of stories, you conceal one set of tragedies, and that is how you turn a riot into a pogrom. That's how you turn journalism into propaganda. Do they not see that if a Farooqia madrasa was burned down, so was Arun Public School? That if a mosque was desecrated, so was a temple? And yet there are those who believe that Hindus weren't victims at all, that Ratan Lal wasn't stoned and shot, that Dilbar wasn't hacked and burnt alive, that Vinod wasn't lynched because his bike sported a Jai Shri Ram sticker, that temples weren't attacked and desecrated, that Arun Public School wasn't burnt to the ground, that Rahul Thakur wasn't shot to death, that acid and stones and petrol bombs weren't thrown from Tahir Hussein's roof, that Santosh didn't throw her 2 grandchildren from the window of her house that was set on fire, that Hindu Dalits Deepak and Lala weren't dragged and beaten by a bloodthirsty Muslim mob, that Hindu Dalit Shobha Ram's furniture shop wasn't reduced to ashes, that Hindu Dalit Dinesh Khatik wasn't cornered and lynched, that Vivek's skull wasn't drilled into by a Muslim mob, that Ankit wasn't stabbed multiple times after he was already dead. There has been a concerted attempt in the last 2 years to turn this riot into a pogrom. Facts paint a completely different picture. This isn't ancient Indian history that rent-a-penny leftist chauthi fail historians can airbrush. This happened right before our very eyes, and that is what is shocking, Rahul. Imagine what happened in 2002, when there was no videos, when there was no mobile phones.
Well, let me go across to Hakeem Rizwan Ilahi. Mr. Ilahi, was a narrative of Islamophobia manufactured to malign the nation's image, mislead the public, and worse, to spread disaffection amongst ordinary Muslims, make them mistrust their neighbors, their Hindu neighbors, thinking that their Hindu neighbors were Islamophobic? Is that what we have witnessed? Because if that isn't the case, how is this judge made these observations? I can't hear you. Rizwan Saab, I think you have muted yourself. Do unmute. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, what I would like to say is that, is this discussion important because there is a Muslim involved? Or is this discussion important because he is a criminal? We need to understand, criminal is a criminal. We shouldn't identify anybody, any criminal, by his religion. And talking about India, the ethos of India, Hindus and Muslims have lived together for hundreds of years. We have lived together. India is incredible. India is diverse because of this nature. And we shouldn't bring all these cards, all these angles to it. If we want to live peacefully, because see, tomorrow a Hindu can do something, a Christian can do something, and we cannot stereotype and point out the whole community or point out the whole religion. It's the individuality. It's the responsibility of that individual, and we have to impose all the punishment, or we have to hold him guilty as an individual, not identify him by his religion.
I'm so
That's
glad. I'm so glad for these very uplifting thoughts that you have expressed, Ilyasi Saab. So let me ask you then. Do you agree that Amanatullah Khan, who said Tahir Hussain was being targeted for being a Muslim, is guilty of doing what you are saying, which is putting religious identity before a crime?
See, now I'll answer this. Looking at the current political discourse, like how BJP has been doing. See, the whole India knows, the whole world knows how. You see, BJP
So what is it? No, one second. Ilahi Saab, I think you didn't hear me. Amanatullah Khan is not with the BJP, he's with the AAP. AAP MLA, member of Legislative Assembly. So when he says that Tahir Hussain was targeted for being a Muslim, he seems to be contradicting you, Mr. Ilyas. You have spoken so beautifully about amity, about the need not to focus on people's religion. Why do you think he was doing it?
He can have, I can say anything, you can say anything, or rest of us can say
so
anything.
He has the right to say.
See, there is a, no. What I'm trying to say is, see, we have the institutions.
No, one second. Ilyasi Saab, I'm confused here. I'm confused. You said, why are we having this debate? Are we having this debate because he's a Muslim, or are we having this debate because he's a killer? No,
we are having this debate. We are having this debate to shell out our own opinions on this particular topic.
No, I'm not shelling out my opinion. I'm talking to you about what the court has observed, sir. And the court's observations seem to... No, one second. Ilyasi Saab, 1 second. Give me 30 seconds, please. Sure. You may not be understanding what I'm trying to say here. The court has made a bunch of observations which contradict what Amanatullah Khan has said, what Owaisi Saab has said.
Amanatullah Khan.
Let me finish.
It's not about Amanatullah Khan.
1 minute.
See, he stands very small in front of the whole, the judiciary, in front of the ethos of India. Nobody is bigger than judiciary. Nobody is bigger than...
So you're saying, Mr. Rizwan, this is very important. Mr. Rizwan today standing up for propaganda-less discourse. This is very, very important, viewers. He's sanitizing the discourse. He's saying that all these people, these Amanatullah Khans, these Asaduddin Owaisis, these Arundhati Roys, these Ayubs, these Muftis, these Bhushans, these Jhas, all were playing the identity card to create divisions.
No.
You were not saying that.
Completely wrong.
Okay, I've got you wrong.
Getting completely wrong.
Okay, so please explain what you were trying to say, because all of these people have put the identity of Tahir Hussain first.
You are trying to, put out something out of the context. What I'm trying to say is, looking at the current political discourse, what BJP has been trying to do, BJP has been trying to play religious cards all the time. And the biggest instrument they have on hand, the biggest tool by which they try to beat the opponents is this religious card. And that's how they play the vendetta, politics. And we shouldn't believe in all this.
Ilyasi Sahab, 1 second. Are you saying that this judge is part of the BJP? Because I'm not understanding what you're saying. It's the court that has observed this.
No, court has we respect court. And
you respect the court. So then the BJP has no role in this. You would respect that too. Okay, 1 second. Dr. Ranganathan is raising his hand. Let me go back to him.
With due respect,
yes, go ahead.
Rahul, it's embarrassing because since 2014, whenever any minority has been attacked, it has been painted as a communal, bigoted attack by the Hindu Rashtra. For example, the fake Christian church attack. For example, all those beef lynchings and everything. Then suddenly religion comes in. But here, when Tahir Hussain is saying, teach the Kafirs a lesson, he's not saying teach Indians a lesson. He is specifically targeting the Hindus. So why is this gentleman saying religion doesn't come into it? Of course it comes. Did he kill Muslims of his constituency? No. He killed Kafirs. And secondly, let me expose this gentleman further. Was the ethnic cleansing of 1990 targeted against Hindus? Was the Kashmiri ethnic cleansing of 1990 and genocide, was it targeting against Hindus? Was there a religious angle behind it? Yes or no? If you have the guts.
But who were involved in that?
Answer.
Do you know who were involved in that? You need to learn the history. Have you ever come to Kashmir? Have you ever come to Kashmir?
Were Hindus specifically targeted? Were Hindus specifically targeted?
I want to ask you, have you ever come to Kashmir?
The answer to a question is not a question. Have the guts. Have the guts.
There are many angles to it. Don't
Daro.
paint everything.
There are
by
many
a
angles to
single
it.
brush.
There
Don't
was
paint
no
everything
religious
by a single
angle.
brush.
Was there
we
a
have
religious
lost
angle?
1 lakh lives, and we still have
Was
the
there a
courage
religious?
to say it.
Were
We
1
stand
lakh lives
with
lost in
everybody
1990?
who say humanity is
Rahul,
bigger
look
than
at this
everything.
terror apologist right
We have
there.
lost 1 lakh
This
people,
is why
and we have
it
a
is
heart to
important
say
to
it.
expose such
That
people.
we have a heart to
This
say
is why it is
that we
crucial.
stand with everybody.
Because
Humanity is bigger than anything.
while the terrorists,
No
while the
religion
terrorists
is
can
bigger
be
than
seen
humanity.
on
We have a heart to
television.
say this.
Okay,
Don't
one second.
try
Let's
to
not
divide
shout
the
over
people.
each other. Gentlemen,
Don't
gentlemen, one
try
second, one second, one second.
Don't try to
Ilyasi Saab, one second. You see,
bash you here.
I'm very confused, Mr. Ilyasi. Very, very confused. Dr. Ranganathan, let's not bandy words with this gentleman. He's clearly come with some agenda. I don't know what it is, because he started out so positively, and I was so delighted to hear the voice of clarity, equity, honesty. And now I'm stunned because I'm being told that, look, do not
Genocide had no religious angle.
do not say that I am standing up against Amanatullah Khan. Do not say that I am standing against Owaisi. Do not say I'm standing against Roy, Ayub, Mufti, Bhushan, Jha. So I don't know what he stands for. Perhaps
I stand.
I'm not
against
asking you, sir.
cruelty.
I'm only
I
saying.
stand against cruelty. I stand against violence.
Good.
I
So
stand
then tell me.
against bigotry.
Then tell
I
me.
stand
Then
against
tell me,
any
sir.
criminal
Should
activity
violence
against
be
any
punished?
religion.
Should violence be punished?
I stand against
Should
people
violence be
who are
punished?
the real
Or should it be rationalized? Should it be punished or rationalized?
Of India,
Okay.
The social fabric of India.
So,
the
okay.
economic
So
fabric
Mr.
of India.
Elahi is talking
I'm
a
against
lot
these
of big stuff tonight without addressing the question, because he knows that the answer is inconvenient to his theory. And he says he stands against violence. So violence should be punished. It should not be rationalized. But listen, viewers, when someone says religion determines if one is to be jailed, what is that? If Tahir Hussain, one second, calm down, Ilyasi Sahab, calm down. It's okay. Don't lose your shirt and your cool. Calm down. Wait.
I'm calm down.
Good. I'm happy. I'm happy that you're calm. We all need to be calm. We all need to be honest. We all need to be truthful. We all need to be consistent. So, Mehbooba Mufti says religion determines if one is to be jailed. So she must explain, should Tahir Hussain not have been jailed because he's a Muslim? Even though he partook in some of the most vile, bigoted violence? So Ilyasi Saab, can you just tell me that Mehbooba Mufti got this wrong?
You gotta ask Mehbooba Mufti for it.
Okay,
Why should
but you don't have a view on what she has said.
I'm not a spokesperson of Mehbooba Mufti.
Okay, so
You need
you
to
have
ask
no
Mehbooba
view. You only
for
have a
it.
view on what the
Because
BJP
they have-
says because you're a
They are
spokesperson for
the
the
ones.
BJP.
They are the ones responsible for.
So viewers,
our,
we will have a point of view on what the BJP says, what the sympathizers of the BJP say, what right-wing people say, but we will not have a point of view on
My
what
point
some
is simple.
twisted
If somebody is a criminal, my point is
activists
simple.
who have
If
an
somebody
agenda
is a criminal,
have to say. Because we are not their
punish him.
spokespersons. Okay, fair
Rahul.
enough. Fair enough. Second contradiction, viewers. Own goals today in this time of World Cup are being scored. He might make it to the finals of the World Cup in Qatar. He's already scored 6. He's defeated Dr. Ranganathan. Now, let me bring in Karan. Karan Verma, you heard Mr. Ilyasi,
Yeah.
Ilahi, sorry. He started so well,
Yeah.
but he lost himself somewhere.
No,
Why?
I didn't lose myself, dear.
It's okay,
It is
sir.
the-
Rahul.
I'm entitled to say what I have to say about what you have said.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Because
And it's a
that's how
fact.
you do. You
If
bring
it's a fact.
somebody on your
If
show.
you say that
you
we
know,
should not
in
put
such a way,
identity, we
that's
should
so
not
that, you
mix
know,
identity with
Can I
justice.
speak now?
No, it should-
Ilahi Saab.
should be
Ilahi
aligned
Saab,
with your
if it's
propaganda.
Ilahi Saab, there's no propaganda. It's very
Can I
simple.
speak,
If you
please?
believe that religion has no role when it comes to dispensing justice, which is a good thing to say, it's the absolute. I'll back you. Then you should easily have come out and
Rahul,
said. You should
can I
easily
answer
have
this?
come out
Let
and
me-
said.
let me tell you
should
what this is
easily have come
called.
out and said that Osseddin Owaisi is wrong, Khan is wrong, Ayub are wrong, Mufti is wrong, Bhushan is wrong, Jha is wrong, Roy is wrong. But you haven't been able to because you're not their spokesperson. Neither can you take a stand for what is right, and neither can you seem to take
have
a stand for
already
what is
taken a
wrong.
stand.
Let me,
I am
Mr.
with the
Verma.
judiciary.
Mr. Verma, please. Go ahead.
You know, Rahul, what Mr. Elahi just did, it's sanctioned by radical Islam and it's called the concept of al-taqiyya. It's called al-taqiyya. which means deception, which means भाई अगर पकड़े गए तो कहेंगे terror has no religion, humanity first. Victim हो गए तो बेचारे बन जाएंगे. So this is sanctioned and this is what he's practicing right here in your news studio. It is al-taqiya. He will run with the hare, hunt with the hound, and he will always have this bechara card. And when he'll be caught and confronted, he'll say humanity comes first, there is no religious angle to it.
My brother, this is called munafiqeen.
Don't speak over him.
Hindus.
I'll correct him. He's wrong.
Please.
And what he is
I'll let you correct him. You can respond to him, sir. I'll let you correct him. Don't worry. Let him finish.
Somewhere else.
Okay. Karan Verma has responded. Would you like to respond, Mr. Hakim?
Rahul,
Respond.
People like
what he is saying is, all
people like
this
you,
is all
me,
rubbish.
and
This is all my
at a large number, many
all
Hindus.
rubbish.
They are
What
too
he's saying, I don't know
civilized.
from where he has, they read, certain books, 3 or 4 books, and they think they are the saints.
What
They
do
are
you
the
mean by
clerks.
from where?
And they know
You
everything.
cannot be hypocritical
What I'm
here.
trying to say, I'm
Mr.
clearly
Elahi
saying
had
here, my dear Karan Verma, I'm
guts
clearly
today
saying,
agree
I
that
am
Tahir
against
Hussain had
the
a religious
violence.
motive.
I'm against the
It is the
wrongdoings.
court
I'm
which has
against
said there is
criminals.
a
Okay,
religious
okay, one
motive.
second. Let me step in here.
Are you
Mr.
against
Verma,
Amanatullah,
Mr. 1
who
second.
called for the
I'm
beheading
lowering
of
everyone's
the
faders. I'm counting till 3. 1, 2, 3. Silence. Okay. Now, viewers, we are not having a theological discussion here. We are having a very simple discussion. A bunch of people came out and said that Tahir Hussain was arrested because he's a Muslim. He's being prosecuted because he's a Muslim. That efforts are being made to normalize Islamophobia in the country by locking up people who are accused of violence during the anti-CA protests in the national capital. I don't care what any book says, viewers. I care about what one book says, which is the constitution of this country. And if those that are tasked with interpreting that book come out and say very clearly that a person is prima facie guilty, remember the words prima facie, viewers, of targeting one community with a certain zeal to teach them some sort of a lesson. In the law, viewers, that person is known as a communal bigot. It's no other way of describing it. It's there. Please read up the laws. And when we don't have people like Mr. Hakim, etc., who come out and say very clearly that those who are trying to suggest today or who have suggested in the past that Tahir Hussain was arrested because of his religion, if they don't come out and contradict these people, then they are playing a terrible divide and rule game. And I think Dr. Ranganathan has already explained why he believes this. Now I want to open this up further. Huda Zariwala is here with us. Huda Zariwala, I want to ask you, do you today, in the light of what the judge has observed, condemn Amanatullah Khan, Mr. Owaisi, Arundhati Roy, Ayub, Mufti Bhushan Jha? Very simple question. I'm not going into any theology. I'm not going into philosophy. I'm just asking you very simply. They defended Tahir Hussain. They said he was being arrested because he's a Muslim. Today the court believes otherwise. Do you think it was a mistake to drag in someone's identity? Was there an attempt to draw some sort of political mileage? Was there an attempt to create a sense of victimhood and alienation? Very simple question, Zariwala madam.
Good evening, Rahul. Thank you so much for the question. I would like to respond to that by first stating and reinstating the fact that, yes, absolutely, any kind of religious bigotry, any kind of anti-communal sentiments, or any kind of hatred among any two or more than two communities cannot be tolerated either by the Constitution or by any book of law, by any book of religion, by any rule of authority otherwise.
Wonderful.
Right? Now, that being said, that being established, let us also take into due cognizance the fact that, yes, having a Muslim name attached to you, belonging to a party that is not the ruling BJP party, can have certain connotations to an ongoing case, and the repercussions of the people associated with these either parties or certain religions can definitely impact a certain public view, especially perception, especially be it the media perception, be it be a trial by the media, even for that matter, authorities like the CBI, the ED get dragged. Now, I am a huge believer in the courts of our country, be it be the Supreme Court, be it be any court of law. I am, extremely hopeful that, any crimes committed under any unlawful activity should not go unpunished.
Okay.
Now, that being said, during the time of communal rights, this is also true that cases of, let's say, Kapil Mishra pulling out a gun at the peaceful protesters, or, many such cases were brought into the limelight. But then again, what happened to these accused, right? I mean, it was a peaceful protest at the Shaheen Bagh, mostly by Muslims. Please allow me to speak, sir. Please allow me to speak. Now, that being said, during the Delhi riots, during the North Delhi riots, it is a well-established, a well-known fact that most of the people that suffered were, unfortunately, from the Muslim community. Now, I am not saying that the Hindu community did not suffer. When a riot happens, everybody suffers. When riots happen, unfortunately, it is the public, it is the janta, it is, the bichari janta, that does not even associate to any of these religious bigotry sentiments. They are the ones most hurt, most affected.
Okay. Now, one second. Now, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. All this is very fine, madam. You have made two charges that you have said that in this country, and you seem to have suggested this with a great deal of emphasis, that if you have a Muslim surname or a Muslim name, you're going to be treated differently under the law.
Unfortunate, and not under the law, sir, but under the certain, current political circumstances. Slapping a UAPA against a Muslim individual is much easier than to do that against anybody, not a Muslim. That is all that I'm suggesting.
Ms. Zariwala, let me very quickly, one second, let me very quickly fact check you on just the Delhi riots. Very, very quickly on these riots that we are talking about. Of the 758 cases, 40 have been solved. So almost 2/3 of these cases have been solved. 2,456 people have been arrested so far. The police have filed charge sheets in nearly 52% of the cases, that is 398 cases, against 1,610 arrested persons. 798 are Hindus and 812 are Muslims.
There we go.
Agreed.
So where is the discrimination?
I'd like to answer that. Isn't it the cases that are slapped against the Muslim name, brought more under discussions? I mean, when
Madam, I'm asking you, you are making certain claims. I have exposed those claims with certain data. If you are making this claim, I think it's incumbent upon you to come with certain facts. So I am waiting for you, Ms. Zariwala. I'll give you 5 minutes. Go open Google or wherever you have to go, ask your friends, whatever it is, find your facts and back your statement with facts. Otherwise, madam, I have no hesitancy in saying that you are spreading disaffection against a community on national TV, and for which you might, I'm saying, you might end up facing trouble. So I'll give you 5 minutes. Don't be in a hurry. Get the facts, get your statistics. Otherwise, you're guilty of doing a great disservice to the nation and the cause of unity. So take your time. Don't be in a hurry.
I'd like to just put on one statement, sir, one statement. That is a very serious, statement that you have just made out there. Let me just put it out there very clearly that I, of all the people, am somebody who is a huge believer in the communal harmony of both Hindu, Muslims,
when you make a charge that Muslims in this country, under the present dispensation, etc., are getting a raw deal, give me facts. This channel deals with facts, not feelings. No, 1 minute. Just 1 second. Miss, 1 second. Let me finish. Because if you're going to suggest this without facts, you are alienating a large percentage of people from this government, which can have serious repercussions on law and order and the peace. So, Ms. Zariwala, Get your facts.
Can I give a fact?
Come
Can I
back
give
with
one
facts.
example? Just
no,
one
no,
example
not one
on that
example.
statement.
Not one example. No, I'm
Anurag
sorry.
Thakurji,
Not
the
one
minister.
example. I want statistical evidence. Please produce it. I'm moving to Tuhin Sinha. I will put your question to him. Maybe he'll be able to defend. Tuhin Sinha of the BJP is here. Zariwala says, without, viewers, remember, without giving one iota of fact to us, that in this country, one section of our population gets a raw deal at the hands of the dispensation. Your response, Mr. Sinha, on fact.
Good evening, Rahul. Rahul, you have answered it. Out of 798, cases that have been filed against Hindus, 812 have been filed against Muslims. So do I need to answer them? I think let me focus on the larger point over here. The court's ruling, the court's observations today, there can't be a more scathing indictment of the Hindu-phobic politics of Arvind Kejriwal and the spurious role of the Aam Aadmi Party in perpetrating these riots. Because there are serious implications of these observations beyond what you're discussing right now. If the Hindu community was the target, were these riots premeditated? And if it were premeditated, was Kejriwal and the top leadership of Aam Aadmi Party privy to it? And if so, you can imagine the implications in neighboring Punjab. And that is where the silence of the ecosystem, the silence of the Congress party becomes very crucial and very shameful. Because forget Aam Aadmi Party, which has not condemned Tahir Hussain till now. Has the Congress party condemned him? If Bharat Jodo Yatra, if you go on a Bharat Jodo Yatra, how is it that you can miscommenting or miscommenting on somebody as something as important as this? I think that is where the hypocrisy of not just the ecosystem but of other opposition parties get completely exposed.
Okay, so Mr. Jindal, since the Congress has been referred to, please respond. Your silence is abetment. If Rahul Gandhi wants to Jodo Bharat, he must not be selective. He must call out everything objectively. Take a position. Hate is hate. Hate doesn't have a religion, says Tuhin Sinha.
Nor it should be an escape route. Now over here, I would condemn Hemant Biswa Sarma's statement also that Hindus are peace-loving people. Can't be rioters. Just 4 days ago, he gave this statement. And I will also condemn Mehbooba Mufti, who claims that Tahir Hussain is being victimized because of his religious identity. So the point is, we have to keep religion separate from all these forms of criminalized politicians. The point is Association for Democratic Rights. It has shown that around 363 sitting MLAs and MPs, they have criminal cases against them. BJP tops the list, by the way, Mr. Tuhin. I think it is having more than 83 of the criminal MPs and MLAs. And when you go down to the local body politicians, the percentage increases. In fact, recently there was a report that the more criminal a person is, the more are the chances for him to successfully fare in the elections. Now over here, for an ordinary man, the hope lies in the media. The journalists like you must expose these forms of politicians out in the public. Bear them and let the public know what is their real face, so that they would be more informed while choosing their leaders. A better example would be set forth and society would be cleansed out of this malaise. So I would say that this particular incident must be used as a means to bring about an effective law. Let Representation of People's Act set forth a precedent. Let people like Tahir Hussain, they must be punished. They must be brought to justice. Lives of innocent who has been lost, they must feel that justice has been done with the act of the government. So I would say that rather than narrowly interpreting it in the religious form, let us take it to a broader sense and think about polity at large, society at large.
Okay, very well, lovely.
Unbearable.
We should remove all criminals from politicians, of course, but we must begin to practice what we preach. Now, viewers, let me tell you, look at the hypocrites here. In just this recently concluded Gujarat elections, the Association of Democratic Reforms said that a total of 167 candidates out of 788 contesting for the 89 seats in the first phase of Gujarat Assembly elections have criminal cases against them, with 100 of them facing serious charges like rape and murder. On this point, Mr. Jindal is absolutely right. But guess viewers, in this first phase, for example, AAP fields the most candidates with criminal cases. Can you believe it, viewers? The Congress party is not far behind either, let me tell you. And the BJP is also a party that has fielded candidates. But the order is AAP, Congress, BJP. There is no room for criminals. But when Lokesh Jindal sits and gives us these pious homilies, and his party does exactly the opposite, what is one supposed to think? Now, I want you to, Mr. Jindal. Mr. Jindal, I just want you to very quickly tell me two things. Do you think when Amanatullah Khan said Tahir Hussain is being targeted for being a Muslim, he was, and this is a very straight question to you, he was trying to sow the seeds of discord between two communities, yes or no?
Yeah, I find people like Amanatullah Khan and BJP ideologues as two sides of a same coin.
Okay. What about so-called intellectuals,
You know,
like
can I come in?
like Arundhati Roy, who said efforts are being made to normalize Islamophobia here, or another writer who says Muslims protested peacefully against the CAA when so many have been arrested. Were they also part of a lobby that was whipping up a communal or sowing the seeds of communal discord? Yes or no, Mr. Jindal, since you are on this truth-speaking spree
who
tonight?
takes a stand without a significant factual base is
Okay.
erroneous, biased, and prejudiced.
Okay.
So over here, whether it is Arundhati Roy, whether
Right.
it is Amanatullah Khan, whether
Right.
it is any person
Okay.
taking a stand without knowing the complete truth, without having a full factual information,
Yeah.
is prejudiced.
Prejudice.
And that view is distorted and not worthy of coming into
Not
the
worthy.
public domain.
So anyone who spreads hate against a community should be socially boycotted or shamed. Yes, Mr. Jindal? Yes?
Yes.
Well, Rahul Gandhi, if you remember, started off his Bharat Jodo Yatra
Can I
by
come in for a
meeting
minute?
a so-called father. Do you know what the father has said?
Ponappa.
Do you know his name? Do you know what he has said about Hindus?
I'm saying over here is, has that particular claim been proven? Had the fact been established? Has he been convicted? Has
Sir,
the
वो अपने मुंह से
court
बोलते हैं।
undertaken proceedings against him?
Can I come in?
Okay. Okay. Dr. Ranganathan wants to come in. Karan Verma wants to come in very quickly. Yes. Yeah.
Rahul, let me be very blunt. There are 7 people on the panel, including you, and only 3 of them have the guts to be telling the truth fearlessly, and you are one of them. I will leave it to the others who are the ones who are not telling, because look at the amusing hypocrisy.
Do you say that BJP
Now,
is free of
Huda
criminals?
ji-
The MP,
Huda ji,
MLAs are free of
this is
criminals.
very unfair.
Your minister Anurag
Huda ji-
Thakur ji said, देश के गद्दारों को
Rahul-
गोली मारो सालों को. Yes, he is the minister with BJP.
Huda ji-
Does your party condemn that? Or when Nupur Sharma
Huda ji-
posted
Talking
that
about
statement
Gaddars, why
openly
are you
against
so
the
scared?
Prophet of Islam, was that
Zara,
condemned by the
talking about
BJP? These are
Gaddars.
two
No,
questions
do not.
I'd like
One
answers
second.
to. Please,
Don't spread
please, sir.
don't spread
I'd
lies
like
out
answer
here.
to these questions.
Already your nose is progressively increasing over there. The more time you get, the more your length of the nose increases. Don't spread lies
Sir,
that people said anything against the Prophet. Please.
Would you
Now,
respectfully answer my
Rahul,
question?
it was my time, wasn't it? I was not going to take more than 30 seconds.
Okay.
Miss
Let
Huda, please.
Let doctor finish.
Please, thank you.
Huda Zariwala, you can
So-
pose your question right after. Yes.
Yes. So as I was saying, look at the amusing and delicious, or that's the wrong word, the amusing hypocrisy that a Muslim can be targeted for his religion, but a Muslim cannot target others for their religion. ये कौन सी hypocrisy है? और मैं हकीम साहब की बड़ी रिस्पेक्ट करता हूँ, कुरान शरीफ मैंने भी पढ़ी है, उसमें अल्लाह ने सीधे कहा है कि 2 चीजें बिल्कुल नहीं करनी. Don't be a hypocrite and don't be a liar, because fire of hell awaits you. So I ask again, on Jan 9th, 1990, were 5 lakh people in Kashmir targeted because they were Hindus? Were their slogans of convert, run or die, Nizam-e-Muftawa, Pandits, you go, leave your women behind, Nara-e-Tadbir, were those not religious slogans? That is why I'm saying this country is not prepared to hear the truth. और हमारे बीच में, I don't mind it, but we have people like Mr. Rizwan and Miss Huda who are too scared to tell the truth. ठीक है, so be it.
We're not scared, brother. We're not scared. Please don't jump to the conclusions. We have always condemned this. What happened with Kashmiri Pandits?
What happened?
We condemned them, and we are
Was
with
it
them. They
religion?
are our brothers.
Was it because
We are
of
with
religion?
them and they are our brothers. But what happened with Muslims also?
You won't
We are
answer
with
that.
them
Was
also.
it a genocide?
You won't answer that. Was it because
a
of
genocide?
religion?
Mr. Hakim,
What happened
have the
with
guts to
them? It
answer.
was not a
it
genocide, but
It was not
But
a
there was
genocide,
not a
but
genocide.
okay.
there
It
were
was not
people
a
who were
genocide.
killed on the both sides.
not a genocide.
Okay,
You should be
look,
ashamed.
Both lines.
Viewers,
Oh
see,
my
this is the
God.
problem.
Oh my
Selective amnesia has brought us to this point, viewers. Every night I
This
sit
is-
here
this
and
is
I
deliberate,
expose
Rahul.
the
This is
hypocrisy.
deliberate.
Whether it is deliberate or selective amnesia, trying
the
to sort
irony
of
is
gloss
Mr.
over
Rizwan
facts,
is agreeing with
I
that
can't say.
Israeli.
But viewers, it is shocking
Perhaps
that a
for the first
nation
time,
today,
Mr. Rizwan agrees with
there is
Israeli.
there is
Because
a
the bluff of the
constant
Congress-
attempt
the Congress
at
party was
glazing over.
waxing eloquent on
One second.
homilies.
One second. I need to move on because there is a story that I want to focus on also.
You know,
I just want to say, viewers, there is a attempt made on pretty much a daily basis to vilify one particular group of people, to score political points at the expense of the mental well-being of another set of people. Correct. And if you're going to constantly inject doses of fear in that set of people, you are alienating them from the Constitution, you are doing so from society, and you're pushing them into, viewers, turning against the state and the nation. Think about the damage that is being inflicted and why it is being inflicted. That's the more fundamental question. I need to move on. Viewers,